Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are we doing? Today was action-packed, and I can't get enough of it. Today was an awesome day. March Madness is officially underway, and we had some great ball games. We had some good NBA games as well. How are your weeks going? I hope you guys are having great weeks out there. It's been a little bit windy here on Southern California. I played a little golf in some rain, and we're not used to that out here. Let's say I was not ready for the weather. It's unlike, California. We're used to sunshine. We're used to 70 degrees, and I was wearing shorts on a golf course, and it probably wasn't the best idea. But let's get to the show. Let's get why you guys listen to me. Basketball talk, crazy talk, fun talk. Let's get right into it. So there were some good games tonight. We saw there were some games. I'm gonna start off with college basketball. There were some games that I saw that. So I love the NBA. I love NBA basketball, and if you know anything about me, I love my NBA. I love a clean game. But college, I love March Madness. Don't get me wrong. I love March Madness, but I don't. It's a little bit harder for me to sit down and watch a full game of college, even though I like to watch it. I like watching the Dukes, the Kentuckys, and that's kind of just me. That's just kind of my flavor, as we like to say. But during March Madness, I like watching these bottom tier teams, kind of put it all on the line. And we saw some good games today. The only thing that I want to knock, but I don't want to knock a little bit, is coaching. And Michigan State losing that game, had no business losing that game. I'm gonna let's run through the scores, and I'm gonna talk to you about Michigan State. But they ran a play. I have to talk about it now. They ran a play at the end of regulation. I think there was 12 to 13 seconds, and I was watching the game with my dad. I watched a lot of basketball with my dad. He's a big sports guy as well. And I told him they've got to run a play and not let. Everybody knows this. This is not just Eddie, being Eddie and knowing everything. I told them they've got to run a play and not let UCLA touch the basketball. This game they should either win this game and walk off, or they should lose this game and go to overtime, right? And sure, Tom Izzo runs a play. I don't know what the set was. I think I've run better plays in my old man's league with my buddies than this set. I'm thinking Tom Izzo's been in the league forever, and this is the best set you've got to win? I don't know, man. That was as much as the kids have to execute. Yeah, but come on, put the guy in a better position. I didn't like that play call at all. Pac-12, they came back and win that. There's a kid from Camarillo. He had a big game, and I love to see guys from. I'm obviously based in California, and Southern California, that is. I love to see guys around me blossom. The kid was from Camarillo, not very far from me, about 45 minutes. And I think he had his career high 30 points, I want to say, 20 points. And Jaime, he had 27 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. He had a hell of a game. And but yeah, Michigan State. And then there was another little thing with Tom Izzo and his coaching. He grabbed the kid at the end of the half. He grabbed him pretty hard. And they asked him after the game, they asked him, like, hey, what was this whole situation about? He's like, you guys could do whatever you want to do about it. This is just the way I am, and basically said the media makes something out of nothing. But he grabbed him pretty hard. The kid kind of reached his arm back, was like, get off me type deal, and I guess Tom Izzo just coaches harder. That's kind of what he's been known for in his whole time at Michigan State. He's coaching hard, and I guess a couple players came to his defense on social media. Draymond Green came out and he said, "This is what we're about at Michigan State. This is nothing. Don't." And I'm all for it. I'm all for coaching tough, and I think that's what sometimes nowadays. And I think you really can't do that because of it's just a different time, so people aren't used to seeing that. But I'm all for that. We had some other good games. Appalachia State against Norfolk State, 54-53. That was a hell of a game. Norfolk State almost blew that. They were up big the entire game. I think, the guy came off the bench, had 20 points off the bench in the first half or something like that, I want to say. And he was killing it. And they almost gave it up to Appalachia State. Appalachia State, they didn't want to play Michigan. That's a college football reference. If you remember, Appalachia State beat Michigan at the Big House a couple years ago. Then Drake beat Wichita State. That was another one where Wichita State got a look from 3 and they had a timeout. And I think they could have drew something up. I don't know. I might just be super analytical about this stuff, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like coaches got to put you in a better position to win. But hey, who am I? Just a talk show host. Texas Southern against Mount St. Mary's, 60-52. That was a pretty convincing game from Mount St. Mary's. That's a tough one. So Texas Southern moves on the 16th seed, and will they make some noise? They play. Who do they play? Norfolk State plays. Why am I blanking right now? Gonzaga plays Norfolk State, and it was funny. They interviewed the coach after the game, and he said, "We're actually playing the Lakers or the Nets of college basketball." And he's joking, or he's not joking. Gonzaga has 3 All-Americans and my favorite to win it. I think they're the best coach team. If you know about me, I love my coaching. I talk to a lot about coaching. UCLA gets to face BYU. They play. That should be a good game. That should be a dandy. UCLA played tough. UCLA was tough. They kind of they slow the tempo down. They kind of run their sets, and should be a good one, I think. BYU's tough, though. That's going to be a tough one. Michigan plays Texas Southern. That's who it was. Another 16 seed playing a 1 seed. That's going to be fun to watch. We always like to see those small schools kind of get after the big dogs and, rough them up a little bit as much as they can. And then Drake plays USC. I want to say, Drake plays USC. That should be a good game. USC's, they've got the talented freshmen coming out. So the brackets are officially set. If you want to fill out a bracket, hurry up, run. By the time this airs, it'll be too late if you're hearing it here. But, it should be, the tournament is set. I told you guys who I like. If you want, you got to listen to my show. I broke it down. I have Gonzaga. Gonzaga's so deep. 3 All-Americans. They got that freshman cat who's a stud. I just think they're the best team in the tournament, to be honest with you, like I said. And then tomorrow we've got some more ball games. It's underway, guys. We've got a slate of games. Wow, how many games we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow, 12, 13, 14. It goes on. But tomorrow, my games, I've got my Arkansas out there. That they play, and then my other team that I like to watch is Oklahoma State. Those are my 2 teams that I like to see. But I'll talk about that a little later on the show. Let's get to some NBA news. It was a big night tonight in the NBA. Young guy, Anthony Edwards, I'm telling you guys, he needs more love. I know LaMelo kind of blew it away in the first half of the season, but Anthony Edwards is quietly having a great freshman campaign. Rookie campaign. Coming over from the basketball talk, from the NBA talk. But Anthony Edwards, the kid is sneaky good. Or he's not sneaky good, he's good. And listen to his press conferences, he's even better on the mic. Him and Karl Anthony Towns, combined for 83 points in a win over the Suns, which is a good win. And this, if you're in Minnesota, that's happy. That's what you want to see, right? That's Anthony Edwards. That's Cat. You want to see. And then Charlotte played the Lakers, LaMelo Ball against LeBron James, and there was some talk about. They asked LaMelo. They were like, "Hey, what do you think of playing LeBron?" He's like, "Oh, just kind of another game." Kind of brushed it off, and that's malarkey. You're a Southern California kid. You grew up watching LeBron, and I know you're this, that, and dad's a tough guy, supposedly fake tough guy. And he was excited. He came out. He was fun. LeBron had coming off 2 straight triple doubles. It's a good game, and it was a good one. I thought it was a good game. LaMelo still, I think, is going to end up winning the Rookie of the Year. But I think Anthony Edwards, guys. I want to talk about a little bit about Anthony Edwards. He's a fun kid to watch, and he plays the game the right way. He plays hard. He plays with a smile on his face, and you love to see that. He's having fun out there. They had a great game tonight. Like I said, with Karl Anthony Towns, they had a good game, and he deserves some. I know it might be over for the Rookie of the Year, but he deserves some talk. Karl Anthony had 41, and Anthony Edwards had 42. Wow, the kid has bunnies too. I'm looking at the stat sheet here. Hernan Gomez had 14, and then Naz Reid had 10. Everyone else had 6-2, 6-2. Man, they came to play tonight against the Phoenix Suns, and that's a good Phoenix Suns team. Phoenix Suns, I talk about them a lot on my show. They're a good basketball team. I like them. Booker had 35 of his own. How many Chris Paul had? 17, 7, and 7. It's not a bad game. I mean, it's a good game. I watched a little bit of it. Anthony Edwards, yeah, man, he's a stud. We got to talk about him a little bit more. And then we have the Knicks against the Orlando Magic. I was actually watching that game. I don't watch too many Orlando Magic games, but the Knicks are one of my favorite teams to watch. And they also had an interesting end of that game. Reggie Bullock kind of got caught up with Fourier at the end of the game. It was a jump ball, and he ended up making a big steal to seal the game. That was an awesome game. I think they have fans back in New York, and Madison Square Garden was buzzing. I played golf with a guy from New York yesterday, and I love talking to Knicks fans. Knicks fans are funny. They get a little bit of Knicks fans are the definition of you give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile. He's like, oh yeah, we're world champs next year, next year. And it's funny, New York fans, but it's like I said, NBA is so much better with Knicks being good. It was a good game tonight. Julius Randle had another good game. He's their leader. He's balling, man. He's gonna get paid too. I think he's gonna get paid. I know he's gonna get paid. He only had 18 points, but he had 17 assists and 10 rebounds. Good gracious. God, his stock is going up. Okay. And it's awesome to see. I always throw in my little Laker gems in this and in my podcast. That's a former Laker. You see Brandon Ingram got paid. Former Laker doing well. Jordan Clarkson, former Laker, doing really well. Lonzo Ball's picked it up as of late. But let's get back to the games from today. Another game was the Pelicans lost again. They lost a tough game couple nights ago to the Portland Trail Blazers, and they lost again tonight, 101-93. But they were like, again, I was watching the game with my dad. It was on Tuesday night they were playing, and they played the Portland Trail Blazers, and they were up by like 15, 16 points going into the fourth, and this is on me. I turned the game off because I'd said, the game's over. They're playing Portland, and Portland's they're tough. Joke was on me. Damian Lillard went off in that game, and it's a tough loss for the Pelicans because they're so young, and young teams usually don't do well with losses like that. And I hope that loss doesn't come back to bite them in the butt. And they lost tonight again, 101-93. Zion, I had a double-double, 26 and 10. How did Lonzo do tonight? 15. It's a bad night. And then let's see what Lillard did. I know he went off. You see, when I'm looking at Lillard's on, you go, all right. He had 36. He had 36 points, and I'm just saying, all right. I'm used to seeing 50 from him, so if I don't see a 4 or a 5 to start it off, I'm going to say it was a bad game. I'm kidding. It's a hell of a game by Dame. Most underrated player in the league. Dude is so clutch. He's so clutch. Man, he's so good. They're still without some guys. McCollum's back, which was good. And who else played tonight? Utah. Oh my God, they lost again. Are we seeing some cracks? Are they taking what happened? Is no one taking them serious? Or did Beal just have a night? Beal had 43 points, 16 from 24 from the field. Hello. And then Westbrook had 35, 13, and 15. Have a night, Russell. Russell and Beal, this is kind of what everyone saw coming, right? Everyone saw that when Russell got traded, we were like, okay, this could be a fun backcourt. And sure enough, they combined for 78 points tonight. Jesus, that's a lot. And it's still funny that the boys in Minnesota trumped them tonight. That was a good game, though. I was watching this one, and man, the Jazz. What is to make of the Utah Jazz? I've talked about it on my show. You know what we call them here. If you're from Utah, I'm sorry, but you guys are my pretenders. You guys, I don't think teams are really scared to walk into your building and beat you. No, I don't think they're scared. No one's scared. The Lakers are only a game and a half back. No Anthony Davis. I'm telling you guys, the Lakers, they don't care what seed they are. And I've said this already. I've said this multiple times on my show. They don't care what seeds they are. And they're quietly just kind of chucking away. They hit a tough spell there a couple weeks ago, maybe a week right before the All-Star break, where they missed Dennis, and they're playing a little bit better without Gasol too. I want to talk a little about and I know we have some big news with the Bucks, and I'll talk about that here a little bit later on the show in a different segment. Because I think that's a great pickup for the Milwaukee Bucks. I love that pickup for them. I think it's like I said, I'll talk about it a little bit later in my trade deadline segment. We got John Collins talk, we got Buddy Hield talk, we have all this good talk. But the Lakers, I want to finish talking off this segment with the Lakers. They look good tonight. Schroeder's playing. The thing I love about Schroeder is they call him Dennis the Menace. They like to call him Dennis the Menace, right? But the effort he gives on offense, he gives it right back to you on defense, and that's what you love to see. And last year we didn't have a guard that could do that. Rajon Rondo obviously turned it on at the back end of the year, but man, he plays both ends of the floor. I think Kyle Kuzma, he had a stretch tonight where he had 3 straight threes, and he's passing the ball. The Lakers are flying. They're having fun. Kuzma ended up with 12 points. And then Taylor Horton-Tucker had 12 points. He's coming around. And Montrezl Harrell's finally having fun again, I think, playing basketball. Caruso came back tonight for the Lakers. He's a spark. That he gets dirty. He's not afraid to put his nose in there and plays tough. And Lakers, I'm sure, are glad to have him back in the lineup. Damian Jones, the Lakers picked him up for a second contract, or a second 10-day contract. I'm sorry, and he was good for them. I'm wondering what they're going to end up doing with him, because they don't have a big right now, and I think the Lakers are better with an athletic big, a guy that could really screen and roll play above the rim, because Marc Gasol is a little too slow. He's got a dad bod. And dad bods really don't play well with LeBron. LeBron likes guys that could run and play above the rim, and I don't know. Gasol's he's obviously a great talent, but I think his time is a little bit past us. And the Lakers are just kind of chuckling along. They're now second in the NBA, second in the Western Conference. No one I guess everyone talks about the Lakers. What am I talking about, Eddie? Everyone talks about the Lakers, but tonight I got to see my favorite East team, the Charlotte Hornets. They're fun to watch. They're just a good team to watch. LaMelo ended up with 26. kid from Chino Hills. I'm sure he loved playing back in his backyard. It was, I wish his family was there, and his dad was all over the court going crazy, because we all know how LeVar Ball is. Terry Rozier, who's quietly having a great year. Everyone thought that was a terrible contract that Jordan gave him a couple years ago, but you think the Celtics would love to have him back? The Celtics kind of let him walk, obviously. He would be a great help for them. Celtics played a good game the other night, too, as well. They kind of let it go. P.J. Washington, who I think is a hell of a basketball player. He plays above the rim, too. He's kind of their spark. He's young. This Hornets team is going to be a team to see in the next couple of years. They're going to be fun. I love their game. And like I said, I think they're fun to watch. But we've got more basketball. We've got basketball every day. We've got college basketball. The March Madness is officially underway, guys. I hope you guys all do. I hope all your brackets win it. I hope you guys took some insight from me. Gonzaga, the best team in college basketball this year, and I think it's their year to finally take over and win it. Coming up on the show, ladies and gentlemen, I watched some more of my Last Chance U, guys. It's a must-see TV. You have to watch it. Great show. And then I've got some NBA trade talk. And finally, I've got some more basketball talk. And just tune in. I'll be right back right after this commercial break. Thank you so very much.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show where we talk all basketball, the best basketball news, and the best of the best. So, I talked a little bit about March Madness going on. I've been watching it all day. I know you guys have been as well. It's a crazy time of the year, as we all like to say it. But we've got some, I want to talk some NBA. I want to talk some trades that went down last week and earlier this week, and what's to come in the trading world. I'm going to talk a little about LeBron James's comments last night. He went a little bit MVP happy. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite show, Last Chance U. But first, let's get to this trade. So, the trade that I thought was awesome for the Milwaukee Bucks was getting P.J. Tucker. P.J. Tucker is a hell of a basketball player. He's one of those guys that doesn't matter what team he went to, where he went, he was going to help out whatever team. So the Bucks give up DJ Augustine, DJ Wilson, a 2021 first-round pick, a 2023 first-round pick. It's quite a lot for P.J. Tucker, and the Bucks get P.J. Tucker, Kuros, 2021 second-round pick, and a 2022 first-round pick. So basically, they just got a first-round pick in P.J. Tucker. With all that being said, how does P.J. Tucker help out the Milwaukee Bucks? So, personally, I think the only reason they got P.J. Tucker was for the playoffs. And that's why you get P.J. Tucker, though. P.J. Tucker is a guy that makes every team better. Doesn't matter what team it was, what team he went to. He guards the best player on every team. And for the Bucks, obviously they have Drew Holiday, and now they have PJ Tucker. But I think that them picking up PJ Tucker kind of gets a guy that could kind of guard, Tobias Harris, could guard James Harden, could guard all these top guards in the East. because every given night, I mean, he could switch on to big guys as well too. Maybe give I think when it comes down to it, Giannis is going to end up guarding KD. But like I said, he could guard the 1 through 5. He makes every team better. Obviously he's known for his corner threes. No one shot more corner threes in the last couple of years than PJ Tucker. Like I said, he's had a long. It's taken him a while to get to the NBA, but no one I think works harder. And as I look at the teams in the East, you know, the teams that the Bucks are going to have to go through, like I said, from the Brooklyn, he's going to probably guard James Harden, Kyrie. He could do any of that. And then in the Knicks, let's see what other contenders we have here. Yeah, I mean, Jesus. Yeah, he's going to guard their best players. He could even guard Ben Simmons. I don't know if he could guard Joel, but he'll tell you he could. And we've got a couple others. I love PJ Tucker. He brings a tough identity to a team. He's a scrappy guy. He's one of these guys that, kind of like we see in college basketball, is not afraid to put his body on the line and make these plays and kind of be the Energizer Bunny on a team. And it's good to have. And every team needs a guy like that. Just because you just need a guy like that on any roster on any given night. He shows up. He plays defense. Defense travels. And we've got a couple other trades that have been rumors that have been lingering around. I read today Lonzo Ball, the Clippers are interested. I don't like to talk too much LeVar Ball on my show because he's basically just like a show. He's basically Vegas. He's basically not Vegas. He's basically just, he wants people to talk about him, and no one really wants to talk about him. But you said Lonzo wants out of the Pelicans, but he looks good with the Pelicans. I don't really know what he's saying there. I don't know why he's saying that. But Lonzo Ball. So I've been reading the Clippers. The Clippers would be an awesome pickup for them. I just think the price. I don't know what the Clippers could give up for him. Maybe like package. Think if you're the Pelicans, what do you want from the Clippers? You probably don't want an older Lou Will. You probably don't want an older Pat Beverly. Like, what can they give up? Zubac? They have Steven Adams. They have Jackson Hayes. I'm trying to think. Yeah, like what? Do they want Luke Kennard? Probably not. They don't want another wing. That's what I'm saying. I'm in a first round. I don't know if the Clippers have any first round picks to give up, but obviously that's what the Pelicans would love is a first round pick and a player that can play right away, but I don't know if they have that. John Collins, I'm reading, is unlikely to leave Atlanta. It's some weird stuff with him and Trae Young. I was reading earlier that sometimes they get a little annoyed with Trae Young kind of pulling up from half court and kind of just doing you could get, I mean, think about it. If you're a guy and you're running down the court and a guy pulls up from just inside the half court line, you're going to get pretty upset. You know, that's not a very high percentage shot. And Collins is only 23. His upside is, I mean, he's a stud. If you guys watch him, he has crazy bounce. He's a good player. He's probably going to end up with a max contract, as crazy as that sounds. And Spencer Dinwiddie, I'm hearing, get some traction for the Heat. That could be a great pickup. They just the Heat actually just traded Myers Leonard, who had that whole situation go down last week, and they traded Trevor Ariza, who I think is a great piece for them. Trevor Ariza is a great professional, great veteran leader. He's won before. He's won with the Lakers. He's just a winner. Wins wherever he goes. I'm hearing that Bradley Beal is not going to get moved. Teams are calling, but I guess they're not trading him. The Warriors called for Victor Oladipo, but I guess the Rockets want too much. And then I'm reading here, the Raptors do not intend to trade Kyle Lowry. What does that mean? They're just probably going to get traded, right? I feel like anytime a team comes out and says, we love you, we don't want to trade you, we love you too much, you know, you mean all this to their franchise, the next day you're basically on a jet to whatever city you're going to. Kyle Lowry makes any team an instant contender. I love his hustle. He's very underrated. I think him and Montrezl Harrell the last couple of years have taken the most charges in the leagues. But again, he's turning 35. Wow, Kyle Lowry's turning 35. Where is time gone? Oh my goodness. He's averaging 17, 5, and 7 with 1 steal, shooting 38% from 3. Like I said, he's a winner. He's another guy like PJ Tucker that they're like very glue guys. They do a lot for a team that don't show up in the stat sheet. Just great professionals. Kyle Lowry takes a lot of heat, but I love Kyle Lowry. He's a guy that sticks his nose in everywhere. And then, yeah, that's kind of what I'm reading so much from trades. And obviously, there's a week. I think Thursday is the trade deadline, so that'll be fun to see. That's always the podcast will be crazy next week talking about trades and stuff like that. Like this week, the pod's gonna be crazy with March Madness. I got March Madness playing up behind me. I've got Oklahoma State playing against Liberty. Oklahoma State is up 44-39. We've seen some great games today, guys. It's been there's 0.49 perfect brackets, and that's thanks to who? That is thanks to who? If you watched it, Oral Roberts stunned Ohio State 75-72. We've had some great games today, though. Oregon State also upset Tennessee Tennessee had 19 points at halftime. If you score 19 points, you have no business winning a game. North Texas up on Purdue 9. The game's still early, first half. I'm sorry. Wisconsin's up big on North Carolina. I'll be updating you guys as we go on the show. 40-24, Wisconsin over North Carolina. It's at halftime now. Cleveland State only down 8 points to Houston. And I'll be talking about it more and more as the show goes on. We'll be talking about finals. It's been a great first day, and March Madness is so good. It brings everyone excitement. I've got a group chat going with a bunch of my buddies and, gals, and I do a big tournament thing every year. And after the first game, I tweet everybody, good luck. No one's bracket's perfect anymore. But I want to talk a little bit about the women's college basketball situation, because if you've been following the media and all this crazy stuff, social media, the NCAA dropped the ball big time. I don't know what they were thinking, what their thought process was, and they came out with the statement just today. It's kind of like, we're sorry, we kind of dropped the ball on this. But there's a photo of a girl from Oregon who shows a weight room, and the men's weight room looks absolutely stunning. It looks like something out of a movie. It looks something like they have all these racks, they have all these weights, they have all these platforms. And if you've been to a gym, it looks like a legit gym. It looks, they've got a ton of weight. It looks like a weight room. And then there's the women's side, and it's literally a little pyramid of dumbbells, like something you have in your apartment that you kind of like use while you're riding a bike. They're something you walk with. Like if they thought that the women are going to work out with that, that's kind of a shot. It's a terrible look for the NCAA. And I mean, we've got guys like Steph Curry coming out. We've got people all over the internet kind of dropping the ball with this. And it's, like I said, and the NCAA came out with this statement at first saying, it's, sorry, we did this due to space. And then that same girl tweeted out a photo of space, and there's literally a whole back room, maybe like a size of like 2 rooms, 4 rooms maybe, of just dead space that there's nothing. And it was just a terrible look for the NCAA, who makes millions and billions of dollars off these kids playing basketball. And now there's more photos surfacing of the care package. So when you go to the tournament, I guess they give you a care package. I guess they give you things that kind of, like a welcome bag, basically. And a guy tweeted out, or it was actually on TikTok, I want to say, of all this stuff that the NCAA gave them. They gave them bags, they gave them shirts, t-shirts, socks, masks, anything you can name it. They gave them a book, I think I saw on there. They gave them so many things. And then you look at the women's side, let's just say it's maybe like a quarter of the things the guys got. And again, Title IX. What are we doing, NCAA? It's a bad look. Come on. And there's no excuse. I'm not one to make excuses for the NCAA. I've always had a problem with the NCAA. I've always thought, here we go. Here goes the Eddie NCAA rant. So, first of all, it's the most corrupt business. One of the most corrupt businesses in all of America, all of the world. They make billions of dollars for these kids. First of all, kids should get paid to play college sports. I'm sorry. I know they get full rides. I know they get full scholarships. I know they get fed. But these coaches are making millions of dollars off of these kids. And obviously they're getting an opportunity to play. And obviously they've just got to find a way, I think, to take care of these kids. Obviously they're college kids. They don't know what to do with their money. You can make that argument. They don't. Whatever. I'm not buying that. For the NCAA to do that to these gals and put a freaking little, what is it? A little, like I said, it's like an apartment dumbbell kit. It's like something you buy at Target, something you buy at Marshall's. I love Marshall's, PS Marshall's. I love Marshall's. But it's like something you buy there. And they just put it, and these are Division I women. They're playing at one of the highest levels. There's WNBA and then there's D1 women's basketball. They're literally playing at the second highest level. And they get treated that way? Come on. And all you say is, oh, we ran out of space. And then when they expose you, you say, yeah, we dropped the ball. What's going on? What, like, whoever was in charge of that needs to get fired. Whoever did that needs to get fired. No and if or buts. I'm sorry. You don't drop the ball that bad. I get mistakes. Oh, I 100%. I get mistakes. I trust me, I do. And putting on an event like this during COVID, I 100% agree. It's probably not the easiest thing in the world. But how do you do that? It's just terrible. And I'm a little fired up on it because I saw it and I don't know. What if, you have a daughter one day and she plays and you go see that and then it's like, come on. We've got to be better. And an apology is not, I'm not sure what else they could do. But something has to be done. And the NCAA has to be better. $1 billion industry. Give them a little pyramid dumbbell rack. Got to be better. No excuse. Has to be better. Has to be better. Let's get I'm a little fired up right now. That's okay. That's okay. So I watched the finale a couple nights ago of Last Chance You, actually last night. I watch it every night before I go to bed. And it was a final. They were in a tight game against a school, and I turned it off because I was ready to go to bed, and I was like, I want to give this all my full effort. I don't want to go to bed. So I turned on the final episode, and I hate to watch the final episode because I read the description. I try not to look up ahead, but I read the description. And it said East LA College gets the end of a season. The end of the season is over, basically. And I was like, oh my God, did they lose? And I was like, they were going through this game and they were down big and they came back and their best player's throwing up. And he goes back to the locker room and I'm like, oh my God, they lost. But then Netflix does a great job. They play this music, Titanic losing music. It was so good the way they did it. And they ended up winning the game. So they ended up winning the game, right? So they go on to the next round, which is state, and they've got to win 3 games to win state. And they're the best team in their region or whatnot. So they're going up to San Francisco. But what I didn't even think of was COVID. I didn't even think of COVID. I thought, hey, maybe they just lost in the next game, or maybe they lost to a team they shouldn't have lost to. But I never thought of COVID. And the reason their season ended short was because of COVID. Fun fact, so we're talking March Madness on my show. We talk March Madness. So March Madness, I talked to NBA on my last episode. NBA got done, right? And then college basketball teams were falling out. And then all these professional teams were out. And the last one to be alive was junior college basketball. Junior college basketball was the last one to be like, we're going to try this out. We're going to go. We're just going to do no friends and family. We're going to do no friends and family, only the team. There was no masks. There was no, obviously no one knew, like I've said before on the show, no one really knew the severity of COVID-19. So they thought, it's just going to be the team. We're just going to travel within the team. But there was a possibility of them not going. And they go about it. They're all, yeah, we want to play. Of course, every team wants to play. So they go about it. They go the next day, and they're about to take off. They have like a meeting in the locker room where they're like, they have practice, they have shoot around, and they're like, okay, it's time to go. They jump on the bus. It's go time. And the Coach Mosley's the last one, and Netflix, like I said, Netflix does a great job about this. They have him like walking slowly to the bus, and he's like, guys, it's over. And from what the coaching talked about is there was going to be so many D1 coaches, and a lot of these guys get offered on these big time days because a lot of these coaches want to be like, I just want to see this guy play live one time, and that's all it takes, right? That you want to see what his energy is like, how he plays, and then you get offered. And that's what Coach Mosley and his coaching staff was mostly torn about, was just them, for his kids, not being able to get looked at, right? Not being able to get that D1 offer, because they said later in the show we saw a couple guys go D2, and a couple of those guys that went D2, if they play in that tournament, in that state tournament, they have a good day. That could change their careers, right? That one game, those couple games could change a kid's career, and obviously, and it's tough that some of them weren't able to see that, but they had a great run. Coach Mosley says that this is his best team ever. They get emotional, and it's crazy that COVID, obviously sports is obviously great and all that, but COVID affected everything. And basketball is just a smart part of it, that we lost so many lives that, that are more important. But I'm just talking about the show and these kids, their lives, and they ended up going with kids from, a kid went to Long Beach State, another went to Sacramento State, USC, Central Michigan, and I think the last kid went to, where was that? Where did he go to? They all went to good schools, though, which is good. And some kids went to some schools in Chicago, some D2s. So all in all, the coach did his job. He got his kids a free education. I think all the sophomores ended up getting offers, which is what junior college basketball is all about, right? And I love the show, and if you guys have a chance, check it out. Last Chance to You. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite shows that goes on Netflix. It's a good one. Look it up. You have to watch it. But coming up on the show, ladies, we have what I want to talk about LeBron James's comments and Kyle Kuzma's comments after last night's game. Stay tuned. We're talking all the greatest stuff, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the games that have gone on. Oklahoma State is still up, and we'll talk about it. We'll come back, and we'll talk all March Madness and about LeBron's comments coming up after this brief message.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the one and only show where we talk nothing but the best basketball, college basketball, March Madness. So, in the last segment, I watched a couple games with you guys and talked to you guys about the early slate. And I told you to come back and talk about the last slate. And I want to dive into some NBA scores. And should LeBron have more than 4 MVPs? I'll dive into that here a little bit later after the comments last night from Kyle Kuzma and LeBron James. But first, let's get into tonight's basketball scores. We had some good ones. Did you guys watch that Dallas Mavericks? Luka Magic is back in full effect. He had a pass tonight that was absolutely incredible. They fell short. They lost 125 to 119, but he had a pass where it was kind of like behind his head, almost looked like he was going to shoot, and at the last moment, right in the pocket to Hardaway Jr. for the three, man. The guy is something at 38 tonight and 9-9. He is, you guys know if you listen to my show how great I think of him. He's special. But then you get the vintage Dame, and I think McCollum had an off night last night, or the other night when they played the Mavericks. But tonight, no off night. 31 from Dame and 32 from CJ McCollum. How about that? This is when the Portland Trailblazers are scary. When those two guys are just on one, look out. Carmelo had 18 for himself. Luka Magic just came up a little bit short. They had a good game, though. The scoring I see here was pretty balanced out. But yeah, it's tough to beat when they score 32 and 31 points. It's a tough one. Golden State Warriors edged one out against the Memphis Grizzlies without Steph Curry in the lineup. Andrew Wiggins have a night. 40 points. Sheesh. He had some of that Michael Jordan magic juice. Wow, he had 40 points. That might be his career. This is kind of the Andrew Wiggins we all thought we were going to see, right? The number one pick, the kid out of Kansas, the next LeBron James, the next, he's kind of been under the radar, but very efficient night tonight. 14 for 24, 6 from 11 from 3. What a night, plus 24. Draymond had 2 points. No, he had 11 rebounds and 13 assists, plus 24. That's he does a lot that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, right? But that's a night. But and then Ja, what did Ja do? 14 points. And then I was watching this game between who do I want to say? The Minnesota Timberwolves. So this is why Anthony Edwards, I don't think he's getting a lot of love for MVP for Rookie of the Year. He had 11 points tonight on 4 of 18 shooting. That's a tough night for a guy. And I think that's kind of the thing with Anthony Edwards, the consistency. The consistencies with Anthony is like, that's why he's not getting much love for that Rookie of the Year. But I think he had a rough night tonight. Towns at 24, they lost to the Phoenix Suns. Booker, I'm sure, went off. I'm so locked in with this March Madness stuff. I think NBA's kind of on the back burner, but they won tonight. Utah won 115 to 112 over the Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors are 17 and 24 now. That's tough. That's they're falling. They're falling. You wonder if they're going to sell, but this was the most interesting one of the night to me. The Utah Jazz, or not the Utah Jazz, the Brooklyn Nets lost to the Orlando Magic, and both Kyrie and James Harden played. Kyrie had 43 points. James Harden had 19. It's one of those nights where Aaron Gordon had 38 for the Magic and Fourier had 31 for the Magic. Those are games where the thing about the Nets, they're not squeaking by anybody now. They've kind of got that target on their back where everybody wants to beat them now. And they've got to bring it every night. There's no off nights for them. It's everybody's Super Bowl, as they like to call it. Sacramento Kings beat the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are, there was some interesting stuff because I guess there's word around town that maybe their coach wants to take the Indiana State job the Indiana job. And he said something, Brad Stevens said, I'm basically a Boston guy now. I swerve around traffic, I drink Dunkin' Donuts, and I root for the Patriots. I mean, how much more Boston does that get? He said, I'm not in my 30s anymore. They lost tonight, but 20-21. That's got to be a little scary for Celtic Nation out there. De'Aaron Fox at 29, Buddy Hield at 22. Man, Buddy Hield is a sniper, fastest guy to. He beat Klay Thompson and Steph Curry to threes. I mean, he lights it up every night. He's just a sniper, as I like to call these guys. Sniper. Jason Tatum, 15 points, minus 11. Wow. Yeah, not a very good night for the Celtics if you're a Celtics fan. That's a bad loss. Sacramento Kings. San Antonio Spurs beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 110. And then the Pacers. Wow, the Pacers 137-110. Miami, my team that was playing hot, the team that I thought was going to get going, struggled tonight. Jimmy Butler, 17 points. Bam Adebayo, 20. How many did Karis LeVert have? Oh, okay. LeVert had 8. He's slowly coming back, but look out. Indiana Pacers. I like the Pacers. I like what the Pacers are doing. LeVert adds another dimension to them. It's a fun team to watch. Detroit beat the Houston Rockets in the toilet bowl, as I like to call it. And let's jump over to the March Madness. As you know, we were watching it together, and it was a good game. And we were talking about it with all you guys, and I told you guys we'd be back. And the Texas, the thing that was crazy today was North Texas. North Texas came out of nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta be better about this, but after the first loss between who lost? Ohio State lost. There was 0.48, not even 1%, 0.048 perfect brackets. Oral Roberts stunned the Buckeyes 75-72. That was a hell of a game, ladies and gentlemen. That was a good one. And then Rutgers comes out of nowhere against Clemson 60-56. Yeah. The thing about that game is Clemson had so many opportunities. They had four possessions down the stretch that I was watching that they just went empty. You can't do that in the tournament. You can't go empty. You got to have something. And that was a tough one for Rutgers. Wisconsin was on fire today. They couldn't miss. They beat North Carolina, and he had a quote. Coach Williams had a quote. He said, "We love basketball when we win, but when we lose, it feels like somebody reaches in your heart and just pulls it out." Oh my God! Just the sound of that sounds crazy, right? Yeah, they shot the ball well. 13 for 27 from 3, 48%. Yeah, they were shooting it 50% from the field, stroking it. Got to feel bad for North Carolina. It's another SEC or ACC. I'm sorry. They've had a tough one. Georgia Tech also lost. The champions in that division. They fell. Syracuse though. Syracuse representing. They beat San Diego State, my West Coast team. I don't think my bracket's doing too hot, guys. I hope you guys, if you listen to me, give me another year. Give me another chance. This was a weird year that we didn't really know what was going to happen, and my bracket is showing for it. Let's see what my percentage is at. Last I checked, I was pretty far down. Hey, 97.3. That's not too shabby. But this is the bracket where I had Ohio State in the Final Four, so that's going to be ugly and get ugly fast. Like I said, Syracuse beat the San Diego State Aztecs, another 11 seed, another higher seed takes down a lower seed team. Syracuse is stroking it 55% from 3. Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. San Diego State struggled from 3. 11 for 40. Wow, 27% from 3. That's tough. Not going to win many ball games shooting like that, ladies and gentlemen. Then the game that I thought was an amazing game, and North Texas went into overtime. They've got some series heart. Javon Hamlet is not scared, and these are always the guys that you love to see in the tournament. And you see these guys that kind of no one really talks about, no one really knows about. His dad was up in the stands going crazy with an awesome sweater, and you hear these stories and you fall in love with it, right? Like the Oregon States of the world. Silva, I mean, you love to see it. This is what March Madness is about as much. And now when my bracket goes to malarkey, I like to I like to root for the underdogs. Like Oregon State, I can't wait for Oregon State to get after it on Sunday. They beat Tennessee 70-56. Rick Barnes is pretty upset after the game for good reason. His team turned over the ball. They turned the ball over way too much. But let's go back to North Texas. They were just a tough, gritty team. Purdue just kind of, did they maybe overlook them? I don't know, but they didn't come to play. And these small schools, and Loyola Chicago is not so small anymore. It was, but these schools, they want to make some noise. Like Oral Roberts, Kevin, he scored 30 points today. He was on fire. He was the leading scorer. That little guy's fast too. He gets around that corner, he cuts, and when you get a big on him, they switch bigs onto him. It's almost impossible. It's almost good night. He's a quick little guy. And 15 seed knocks off a 2 seed Ohio State. Ohio State was favored in a lot of brackets. That was one we didn't see coming. Ohio State was, they're always a good program. They're coached well. They beat Michigan. I thought that's kind of my reason, I think. And we'll see how good Michigan looks. Like I said, that's a tough one. And I have a little thing for Oregon State. I'm a Pac-12 guy. I like to root for the Pac-12 a little bit more. Loyola Chicago, though, they got the sister. I love that. They won 71-60. Their point guard's hard nose. I love that kid. I like to see guys that play hard like that, not afraid to put their body on the line. Just a good basketball team. Villanova won by 10. But Oregon State, I want to talk a little about Oregon State. They got a couple kids from Southern California, but they got 2 kids that I watched playing in high school, Ethan Thompson and Gianni Hunt. They were. I like to call these guys, these type of guys that just aren't afraid. I like to call them dogs because that's what they are. They're dogs. They don't quit. They dive. They're scorers. They're team first guys. You love to see guys like this, and I love watching guys like this play. Ethan Thompson was not being denied today. He played a hell of a game in Oregon State, man. They're look out for them because they're one of those teams that was supposed to be 12th in their division this year in the Pac-12, and they no one picked them in the Pac-12 to win it. And they came out of nowhere, won the Pac-12, and now they were a 12 seed. What coincidence, right? That they're a 12 seed here in the bracket too, and look out for them. They have nothing to lose. They're playing with house money. It's like when you go to a casino, right, and they give you $50. Go see what you could do. That's what I feel a lot of these teams are doing. They're playing hard. We got some good games here on Saturday that I'm really looking forward to. I want to see Florida State play. I've got them going deep. They're one of my I like them. They're a good basketball team. Kansas is another one. LSU, Michigan. I want to see how Michigan comes out because Texas Southern has nothing to lose. Look out for them. UC Santa Barbara, I have UC Santa Barbara winning. So I think against Creighton, that could be an upset alert. Look out. Actually, everybody's upset alert. This year, you really don't know. Teams are coming to play. Some good ball games tomorrow, though, ladies and gentlemen. Gonzaga, we're going to see Gonzaga at 6:20. Everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see how Gonzaga comes out, and they've got to live up to the hype. Michigan tomorrow, they've got to live up to the hype, right? You can't get upset. These teams are coming to play this year. They're coming to play this year. Look out. These top seeds, they're not scared. And so the next round, we've got some good matchups here. Rutgers, Houston, Syracuse, West Virginia. I think Oklahoma State and Oregon State is going to be a dogfight. That's going to be an absolute dogfight. Also, look out for Illinois. Illinois is a great basketball team. I was watching them today. They get in your face. They're not afraid to put their nose in there. But Loyola Chicago, wow. They have some guys. They have dudes, as we like to say. They have dudes. Arkansas, Texas Tech. Arkansas, I'm writing Arkansas pretty good. North Texas, Villanova. Hey, North Texas. I'm rooting for North Texas. I love to see these underdogs. And it's going to be good, man. I'm excited to see this stuff. And like I said, look out. So now I want to talk on this subject. If you know anything about me, listen to my show. I'm a bit of a LeBron guy for good reason. I think he's the best player in the NBA. I think he might be the best player we've possibly ever seen. I might take some slack for that, but hey, that's okay. That's my opinion. But so last night was interesting. Kyle Kuzma, they asked Kyle Kuzma what he thinks about LeBron, and he said LeBron should have 8 MVPs. LeBron should have 8 MVPs and 8 or more MVPs. He's the best player. And then we see a lot of guys like Anthony Davis and his teammates kind of go, it's a political award. He should have won it last year. He's the best player on the best team. And we see that a lot, right? And this year, the rankings came out. I was watching yesterday, and he's like 4th. I'm just like, he's second. He's in second place without his Robin in Anthony Davis, and they're in second place, 28-13. That'd be first place in the East. And they've had no shooter at some point. They've had no Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol kind of, I hate Marc Gasol. Really hasn't been what the Lakers thought he was going to be. But LeBron's played every game. Or he missed one, the game right before the All-Star break. And he's putting up phenomenal numbers. Like, the guy's 36. And people are taking him for granted. I'm sick. He's only been and I'm going to look at let's look at the MVPs the last couple of years. And so LeBron won it in 2008, 2009. LeBron, Derrick Rose had an awesome campaign. He was great that year. I'll give him that. LeBron was still great that year too. But then LeBron won it 2 years, and then Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Giannis. 2019, 2020, I'm sorry. Giannis had a great year, but LeBron had the number 1 seed in the West. Tougher division, better numbers. Giannis, I don't know, man. I'll have a Giannis segment, but Giannis, to me, till he could shoot a jump shot, I'm not going to ever be scared of him. I'm never going to be scared of him in the playoffs. That's for sure. Never in the playoffs. Let him shoot. Until you could hit a jumper, elbow jumper, come talk to me. And then Russell Westbrook that year, Steph Curry had that awesome year as well, unanimous MVP, but that, you can make an argument LeBron should have won it that year. Steph Curry was insane that year, the unanimous year. That's Steph for sure. But a couple other years, man, we take him for granted. We really do. Like Kobe. Kobe had 1 MVP, right? Let me make sure I'm not speaking out of my butt here. Yeah, Kobe had 1 MVP. Like, come on. You mean tell me Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki had... Come on. Kobe? Taking for granted. LeBron, taking him for granted. And this year, this whole MVP talk, it should be done. They should give it to him. And they asked him after the game last night, they asked him, hey, Bron, what do you think about that? He's like, I should have more than 4, but I don't worry about it. I kind of just do what I do and let the chips fall where they fall. And obviously, any guy is going to say that, but I know it hurts him. Or it doesn't hurt him, but it does kind of fuel him for the next year. But he's 36. He's doing this he's doing this clip where it's insane. And we're taking him for granted. No one's talking about him this year either. Did we see his numbers this year? You guys want me to tell you his numbers this year? Games played 40. He's played 40 games, right? Field goal percentage 51%. He's shooting 36 from 3-point. Every year he's got better, by the way. Every year he's got better. Free throw line, we could get better, 69%. We got to be better, I'll give you that. He's averaging 25 points. Last year they were like, LeBron, you can't pat. So he led the league in assists last year. He had 10. He has 8 this year. 8 rebounds. Come on. 8's 36. And we're still wondering if this guy's the MVP. Second place in the West. No Anthony Davis for the long haul. What more do you guys want to see? Every game he plays, he affects every game in a different way possible. Defensively, he's playing great defensively this year. He should be all defense this year. I don't know. I think we take him for granted. And I'm with Kuzma. He should have about 8 MVPs. He should have more than 4. That's for sure. Oh man, I could do a whole 80 minutes on this, but I don't know. Just let's not take him for granted. He's too good of a ball player. Should be the MVP this year. Second place in the West. Might finish first without no Anthony Davis. We don't know when Anthony Davis is coming back. Guys, he's right in front of us. Don't take him for granted. He's special. Maybe the greatest ever. But let's go to the people that pay for my show. Guys, I'll be back after this message. Hold on tight. We'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some breaking news we've got to get to ASAP. And I was going to talk about something else on the show for my final segment, but this is just popped up. This is something that has to be talked about. And if you listen to my last segment, we talked about, first couple segments, we talked March Madness, we talked LeBron James. And we just got some terrible news regarding LeBron James. He went out after 10 minutes of play. Looked like somebody landed on his ankle. What didn't look very good. He's out indefinitely. Whoa, shit, he's out indefinitely with a high ankle sprain. What this means for the Lakers. I was just talking about it on my last segment. If you heard, wow. This is a tough one for the Lakers. Where do they go from now? But I want to talk about something. Why did the Lakers play at 12 in the afternoon? Can we talk about that for a second? And I guess they share the arena with the Clippers, and they must have got mad, and so the Lakers had to play in the afternoon. But I'm blaming it on that. They weren't supposed to play that. They shouldn't be playing that early. They own the arena. No, they don't. The Kings do, but we have the Lakers have the most banners in the arena. But for the Lakers going forward, what does this mean? No Anthony Davis. There's really not a timetable for Anthony Davis to come back, right? They say it could be 2 weeks, I heard last, and now LeBron James is hurt indefinitely. What do the Lakers do? This is a big one for the Lakers. This could be a big blow. Hopefully it's nothing serious for LeBron and the Lakers. I know they have their fingers crossed. They're second in the West right now. What does this do? Oh man. They've got to drop, right? I mean if we look at the lineup, man, Dennis Schroeder has to carry the team. He ended up having 16 points. Montrezl Harrell, 23. Markieff Morris, 12. Caldwell Pope, man, goose egg. We're gonna need some production out of him. Guys are gonna have to step up, play huge roles. And I want to see the Lakers schedule down the road here. But I don't. This is a tough blow for the Lakers, I tell you. Their two top scorers are out. What do? Do they go after somebody that they almost have to be aggressive, right? At the trade deadline? Oh, man. Scary position for the Lakers. I mean, so they have the Phoenix Suns coming up tomorrow on a back-to-back. They fly to Phoenix. Obviously, no LeBron, no AD. Tuesday, they play the Pelicans. Thursday, they play the 76ers. Friday, they play the Cavaliers. Sunday, they play the Orlando Magic. And then next Wednesday, they play the Milwaukee Bucks. So you're looking at a tough little stretch right there. Phoenix is no walk in the park. New Orleans is no walk in the park. Philly's no walk in the park. Cleveland, the Magic just beat the Nets and then the Bucks. This could be, like I said, this is not good for the Los Angeles Lakers. Wow. I'm kind of shocked by this, and I was watching the game, and he got rolled up on, and a guy that pays $1 million for his body, for somebody to roll on it, it's tough. And I talked about in my last segment, LeBron being the front runner for the MVP. We got the two top front runners for the MVP are now hurt, and Joel Embiid and LeBron James. The door is open. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, the Joker, it's open. And they always say that at 36, those bones don't always heal the same way. They don't. He's older. What is this? Is this? Hopefully, it's not a domino effect for the Lakers. They can't have that. But this is going to be, like I said, I keep saying it's the tough one. There's nothing. I'm kind of don't really have nothing else to say. Frank Vogel's going to have to find something, pull something out of a hat, because this roster, I don't know if it's built to win without LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I don't think any team is. It's almost like if the Nets lost Kevin Durant and James Harden. They still have Kyrie, but it's tough. Your two top guys. I'm going to see. I think the Lakers are going to have to be aggressive at the trade deadline now. But I guess only time will tell. Breaking news. And then another part of the breaking news, I'll get back to LeBron here a little bit later, but another breaking news, we had our first no contest. Oregon State against VCU declared no contest due to COVID-19 protocols. Ducks advance. We kind of knew all this coming along, that teams have to be very, 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 very careful with the whole COVID-19. We're still, in the midst of things, and COVID-19 is still going on, and it's still out there. I'm not sure how many players or how many coaches have the vaccine, if that's going to slow it down, but teams were told you got to be really, really careful with this, or else you're automatically out. Oregon's automatically advancing to the second round. So I'm reading here, the Rams had multiple positive tests within the last 48 hours, according to Coach Mike Rhodes. The NCAA Division I men's basketball committee has declared the VCU-Oregon game scheduled for Saturday night at Indiana Farmers Coliseum a no contest because of COVID-19. This is a decision made with the Marion County Public Health Department as a result of Oregon Ducks. Wow. And we're going to see guys have been tested for the last 3 weeks. Within the last 48 hours, they received multiple positive tests. And you got to feel for VCU. You have to. Not only last year, right? But then this year, it gets taken from you. The student athletes have to be heartbroken. The campus, the community, everybody. You wonder if it had something to do with the airport, if it had something to do on campus, if it had to do something with... This is a year you have to be really careful. There's not really much you can really do just because it's scary. I don't even know. I'm lost for words with this one. VCU, you got to feel. You really do. They trained all year. I'm at a loss for words for these poor kids. You train all year to get somewhere, and then all of a sudden it's taken from you. Kind of like last year, all these guys, these teams went through things, and they fight all year, and then all of a sudden they get taken away to COVID. And then this year, they do all the protocols, they do everything they can, and then it's taken away because of COVID as well. Oh man, you got to feel for the VCU guys, and I don't want to say this, but I am gonna say it just because I don't want to put this out in the universe, but It's probably not going to be the last one. It's not. It's going to be something I think we're going to see just because they're in a bubble, and I don't know. They're allowing fans, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen again, but it almost seems like it might. And I hate to see that. I really do. But let's go over some scores that already happened today. There were some games that are going on currently. Missouri's up on Oklahoma 22-19. It's still early in the first half. Ohio is down at Virginia 24-17. Still early. Georgetown lost to Colorado. Another Pac-12. The Pac-12 was playing well, I tell you. Florida State 64-54, slow scoring game. No upset so far today. Kansas and Eastern Washington 93-84. LSU looked good. Michigan looked good. Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough right now. UCSB just fell a point short. I thought UCSB was going to come around and kind of beat Creighton. I had that as an upset in my bracket. They were a point short. They fell a point short. Alabama SEC representing 68-58, taking care of business. USC 72-56 against Drake. They look good. And then we got our big games tonight. The game that I've been waiting to see, and I think that the champs are going to play their first game. Gonzaga against Norfolk State. Let's see how they look. If they come out a little flat, I think they're going to come out, step on their throats early and put them to bed. That's what they have to do. UCLA BYU is going to be a dandy, but that's going to be a hell of a game. I'm excited to see that one. And then Texas. March Madness is fully underway, ladies and gentlemen. It's fully we're in full stride. We've got a little, I hate to say it, we got a COVID scare. But I want to go back to that news on LeBron James, because I want to talk about his MVP chances. Not even the MVP chances. I want to talk about the Lakers going forward. Can this help the Lakers going forward? I'm going to look at it as I don't want to say LeBron being hurt as a positive, but these are guys that are going to have to play a heavy role now. They are going to have to play. Alex Caruso is going to have to play a lot better. KCP is going to have to step up. Kyle Kuzma is going to have to play. Kyle Kuzma may end up being the top, the top scorer. He's going to have to. He doesn't have to take that role, be that guy. With Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl off the bench has to be huge. They can't have a bad night, basically, because obviously they had LeBron to kind of lean on and all this stuff. But the bench has to be a lot better. The bench, the starters. Maybe Taylor Horton-Tucker takes that next step. Wesley Matthews has to start shooting the ball a little bit better, I think. He's been playing good defense, but he's got to be able to score. And Damian Jones, I wonder if he's going to get that another contract. We'll see. We're going to see a lot of guys have to step in roles that they're not very comfortable with, but it's the Lakers and the next man up, and it's going to be some time, hopefully, maybe 2 weeks. I'm assuming LeBron's going to be out for at least two weeks, maybe with Anthony Davis as well. That's two guys at maybe 50, 60 points a night, right? And they account for their defensiveness, their defense. Oh, man, it's going to be a tough one for the Lakers, I tell you. They're going to struggle, I think, for a little bit. But, hey, maybe they might play with nothing to lose, chip on their shoulder. Everyone's coming after them. And I tell you what, no one feels bad for the Lakers. No one feels bad that LeBron's hurt. Oh, no, LeBron. No one feels bad. These guys, I'm looking at the standings here. And the Lakers are, like I said, they just fell to. The Clippers are right behind them at 26. They're 2 games back. Denver's 3 games back. And Portland's 3 games back. If the Lakers fall anymore, they're in the play-in game. So the Lakers have to kind of keep on pace. Because then you don't want to get in the play-in game because then I don't like that. Especially for the Lakers. I mean, I do like it for the Lakers just because they're the better team, but you never want to put your like wild card games in baseball. You never want to chance that because anybody could win on any given night. It's going to be interesting to see, though, Laker fans, Laker faithful. What do you think? And I had just talked about it on my last segment about LeBron being the MVP and him going and having one of the best years of his career at the age of 36 and playing defense and just doing whatever the team really needed. And wow, huge loss. Huge loss for the Los Angeles Lakers. And somebody's going to have to step up. Plain and simple, Frank Vogel's going to have to coach. Probably a lot harder than he's been coaching. Going to have to run some more sets. Good to see them, though. I mean, good to see, guys like Alex Caruso, their stock could go high. Kyle Kuzma, step up. But yeah, it's going to be tough. Another thing I want to talk about is the women's basketball weight room. Their weight room showed up. It finally showed up. The bullying worked, and people calling out the NCAA, the billion-dollar industry, showed up with the weight room, and they are ready to start lifting. As you heard on my show, I kind of called out the NCAA, and they looked bad. They looked really bad in making the girls look that way. And why that was just a bad look for the NCAA, billion-dollar industry, and then you put like a little pyramid rack of dumbbells for the girls, and so the picture surfaced today. They've got lights, they've got a couple weight racks, they've got and like I said, I read the quotes of that the NCAA, they said they dropped the ball on this one, and that's really on them. And I don't know. Do you forgive them? I personally don't. I think it's almost like a shot in the face, a slap in the face, I'm sorry, to these gals. Because they all work hard. They all play hard, they all deserve some weights. But they got weights today, and I want to see, what do you forgive the NCAA for doing that? I don't. Because it shouldn't have got to that in the first place, right? Come on. We're going to give them a couple dumbbells and some yoga mats. Come on. I've seen better gyms at a Motel 6, or I've never been to a Motel 6, but like at you go to these hotels that you stay overnight at, you see better gyms there. And this is the NCAA, billion-dollar industry. Come on. You have to literally get called out on TikTok or Twitter for you to be like, okay, yeah, this isn't fair. Come on. I'm not. What do you think this is? It's not. High school girls have better gyms than that. You mean to tell me, oh, yeah, we dropped the ball? Oh, come on. I don't feel bad. NCAA, we got to be better. Billion-dollar industry. But they got bullied, and they showed up with some stuff. They showed up with some stuff. That's something. But let's go to the games tonight in college basketball. Unfortunately, like I said, no Oregon, no VCU. UCLA BYU is going to be an interesting game, I think. I really do. I think BYU is a scary team at 20-6. They shoot the ball really well. UCLA, another good team, they play hard. I talked about it yesterday on the show. They're playing with house money, these teams. They're playing with house money. It's only 3.5 point spread. Not much. Let's go UCLA in the upset, huh? UCLA in the upset, nothing to lose. Jaime, show up. Have a game of your life. I also read somewhere that he also plays on the baseball team. He's taking batting practice in between Sweet 16 and playing in that playing game and now playing in the first round. That's something. Good athlete. And then another game that we look forward to is that Texas game. I think that Texas game is going to be a good game. Texas is Shaka Smart. He's back in there. You remember when he was with the Shockers. I'll never forget that. They showed a video one time of Shaka Smart. He used to take charges. They used to do that shoot around. He would lay up lines. He'd jump in front of his guys and take charges. You'd love to see that. Fired up coach. They always fired up. Shaka. He's got hair now. I'm more of a bald guy Shaka fan. Shaka's got to bring back the he's got a little fro going now. I don't know if I like it. And then the game we all want to see. Gonzaga. They got the oh my gosh. I'm looking at the percentage. BPI, which is a basketball power index, gives Norfolk State Spartans 1.2% to win. What's your message to your team in the locker room if you're the Norfolks? You know, what's your message to them? Hey, guys, nothing to lose, right? House money. Think of that. Like, if you're the coach, what do you tell these guys? I don't think you have to say anything. These guys are pumped. They're playing on national television. They're playing against the best team in the country, the team that everyone thinks is going to win it all. You have a chance to come and make noise. Come and make noise. I think, like I said, Gonzaga is the best coach team. You know how I judge guys: best pros, shooters, and coaching. And Gonzaga's got all of that. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen: LeBron James just tweeted out, "Nothing angers and saddens me more than not being available to my teammates. I'm hurt inside and out right now. The road back to recovery begins now. Back soon like I never left. Hashtag the kid from Akron." You know LeBron. If you know LeBron well, he's going to take this as a champ, and you know he's going to come back strong. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast this week. It was awesome hanging out with you guys. We talked a bunch of March Madness. Stay in there, guys. Stay in there. It's a tough time. March Madness is one of those times where it's don't feel discouraged if your bracket isn't doing too hot. No one's is doing too hot. Keep watching basketball. We'll be on the pod next week, and we'll be talking more March Madness, more Lakers, more NBA, what LeBron's ankle looks like, and all the best NBA news, March Madness news. Hopefully we get no more COVID-19 things because we want everyone to play. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your week.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.